Trump is both right and wrong on trade. He's right on some of the principles here. He's wrong in the way he's doing it, which means it's going to probably blow up and backfire on us. But on the other hand, working people across the country believe that he's out there fighting for their jobs, which makes it a lot easier for him to win in 2020. We get into the whole thing here. Check this out. Leave your comments, ding the bell, and subscribe to our channel. Greg Sargent has an interesting piece in today's Washington Post. It's titled, "Trump is staking re-election on one of his biggest lies," and the lie is that China is paying the tariffs. No, that's not the case, but, broadly speaking, Donald Trump is actually right, in my opinion, about our failed trade policies since 1993, when both George Herbert Walker Bush and Bill Clinton in 92 ran for election on the platform of, "I will sign NAFTA," which we know has cost us, 1 million jobs or more. In fact, according to the federal government, in fact, NAFTA had built into it a program to provide money, federal tax dollars for, quote, displaced workers, to help retrain workers who lost their jobs to NAFTA. And hundreds of thousands of workers have actually qualified for this program and had money set aside to pay for them to go to trade schools. The problem is, because they lost their jobs, because principally American auto factories and washing machine, large appliance factories and TV factories all moved to Mexico as a result of NAFTA. And the problem was that these people got, quote, training in for-profit phony baloney schools that trained them for BS jobs that don't exist. It was just, another federal money transfer to the for-profit education sector. It was a scam. The whole NAFTA thing, in my opinion, was a scam. And Ross Perot is right about that, and Donald Trump is right about that. And that's a problem for Democrats, because about half of the Democratic Party agrees with what I just said. And about half of the Democratic Party thinks, no, if we just keep doing this free trade thing, someday it'll work out for us. I'm sorry, it's never going to work out for us. Every other country in the world, literally every other developed country and many of the developing countries in the world, have protectionist trade policies. They're not all tariffs. Most of them actually, the advanced countries now, when all the tariffs went down, replaced them with VAT taxes, value-added taxes. You've heard my rants about those over the years. Germany, for example, has a value-added tax. Every stage along the manufacture process, converting steel ore or iron ore into iron, small tax for the increase in value. The value added, turn that iron into steel, small tax. Turn that steel into rolled steel, small tax. Turn that rolled steel into a car door, small tax. Put that door on the car, small tax. And when you're all done, the total tax is 17%, is the value-added tax in Germany. And in most European countries, it runs from 15 to 18%. And so if you're a German and you buy a car made in Germany, you pay a 17% VAT tax. But if Germany wants to export a car to the United States, because we are not Germans, we don't have to pay the VAT tax. So that's a 17% discount on the export of a German car. On the other hand, if Chevy wants to make a car in the United States and sell it to somebody in Germany, at the moment that car hits the German border, they're going to hit it with a 17% VAT tax, because after all, German, car buyers are supposed to be paying a 17% VAT tax. So you add 17 and 17, that's 34. This is functionally a 34% tariff on exports and imports to Germany. And it's not just Germany. As I said, it's every single country in Europe. This is a large part of the Brexit vote, is that the Brits want their tariffs back, so that, or at least they want their VAT tax to apply to the rest of Europe, so when they sell things into Europe, they can make some money on it. Or actually, it's more like the jobs will stay home. So, Trump is right about this. It may be that most Americans don't understand the nuance of it, but he is right. And he's not doing it right, but he's right about the problem. That ever since, basically Bill Clinton came in and said, yeah, we're going to do free trade, that was the end of a lot of literally millions and millions of American jobs. And this could get Trump reelected in 2020, no matter how this current fight with China turns out. Greg Sargent in his piece is saying no deal followed by still more tariffs will allow Trump to claim being tough on China. And he believes this will be a political winner, even if the imposed tariffs impose still more economic pain. I agree with Trump on this. I think he's right. And I think that particularly the Democratic, the people on the Democratic side who are, the old-fashioned, let's keep free trade, the Obama and Clinton neoliberal consensus, the Tony Blairs, that part of our Democratic Party. I think that, if they don't start singing a different tune, the American workers are not going to vote them into office. Whereas you've got a bunch of progressives, you've got Bernie, you've got Elizabeth Warren, there's a bunch of more progressive candidates who for some time have been saying this trade policy absolutely sucks. I mean, the Congressional Progressive Caucus was opposed to NAFTA. They were opposed to allowing China most favored nation status. That also happened in the 90s. And that, led Walmart to go from, and I remember the first Walmart in the 80s opened up in Atlanta when Louise and I were living there. The big sign over the front of it was 100% made in the USA. And now it's 100% made in China. Why? Because of these trade policies. And workers actually believe that Trump is fighting for their jobs. I mean, the problem is he's doing it by executive action and declaring states of emergency, which means that his tariffs are only temporary. But here's how tariffs work. If say we're talking about socks, right? We don't make socks in the United States anymore. So the way that Trump's tariffs are being essentially ridiculed by commentators on TV is, okay, he puts a tariff on socks coming in from China, so now Americans have to pay 25% more for their socks. But, there's not a sock factory in the U.S. just waiting to open tomorrow morning, so we just get higher prices. Well, that's half true and half true. The fact of the matter is that if that 25% tariff on socks raises the price of socks in the United States to the point where it's now profitable to make socks in the United States, somebody will open a factory. And it's not just socks. It's true of everything, right? Somebody will open a factory in this country to make them. It's a business opportunity. This is what entrepreneurs do. They look for opportunities. The problem is building a factory to manufacture socks or computers or anything else is a multi-year, multi-million-dollar process. And if you know that the only reason that the price of socks has risen to the point where it's profitable to make them in the United States is because Trump declared a state of emergency around trade and is executing executive, whatever you call them, proclamations, executive orders to impose these tariffs, then as a business person, you also know that when Trump leaves office, which could be in 15, 16 months, the next person in, particularly if it's a Democrat who believes in neoliberal trade policies, will simply reverse the tariffs, and they'll go back to the Clinton, Obama, Bush, Reagan policies. And then, you're sitting here with a factory you just invested millions of dollars in to make socks, and the price of socks just dropped 25% because we're buying them from China again with no tariffs. So the right way to do this would be to do it through Congress and get actual legislation passed to put these tariffs in place. But Trump can't do that. He doesn't know how to govern. And the Republicans around him are not going to do that because they all love free trade and they hate tariffs. So, it's like, this is a real tough one. And, so nobody's going to do this. I mean, a true trade policy would take us back to strong jobs like we had in the 1940s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, and the early 80s. That kind of trade policy actually requires Congress, and it could be done through tariffs, or frankly, more rationally, I think it could be done through a VAT tax. Although you say tax and Grover Norquist goes nuts and the Republican Party melts down. But if we had a VAT tax like the rest of the world does, we wouldn't need tariffs. And we would be more competitive and manufacturing would come back to the United States. But again, this doesn't reduce well to a bumper sticker. But I'm telling you, the working people in the heartland. I grew up in Lansing, Michigan. I grew up in a lower middle class, blue collar community. I'd say 80% of the people in the neighborhood that I grew up in Lansing, Michigan, their parents worked either at General Motors or Fisher Body or a local company like my dad did in a tool and die shop, a local company that supplied parts and material to Fisher Body or General Motors. And Those people know what happened. We saw it happening in the 70s when in the very beginning, when we started, allowing Japanese, dropping tariffs on Japanese cars. And Honda and Toyota started selling cheap cars into the U.S. market. And in Lansing, in my town, in Lansing, if you drove one of those cars, it was guaranteed it was going to get keyed. I mean, workers know what's going on. And they believe that Trump is fighting for them. And in some ways, he is. And this is a really difficult thing for me to say. But Democrats need to figure this stuff out, or they're going to lose the next election. And they're going to continue losing elections.